right now on 5 on your side at 10.
This is way more than a game tonight.
Packing the house for Colin Brown. The hockey community honored the teenage player taken too soon.
Snow break. Today's system is exiting, and this weekend will be a time to catch up. The changes coming next week that could create some more travel troubles.
Get your supplies now because winter is just beginning.
A second round of snow sends shoppers scrambling for salt and shovels. How hardware stores provided the first line of defense against today's snow.
I said, I need some more salt.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Let's get right to our weather impact forecast with Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. Scott, the snow is tapered off, but how long is it going to last?
Well, at least it's off most of the main roads at this point, even with getting 2 to 4 inches this morning around St. Louis. We have the road conditions that have improved greatly because our temperatures were up right around freezing most of the afternoon and just above. So that's a good thing. That's St. Charles right now. The snow that's on the grassy areas, it's going to take probably a couple of 3 weeks, maybe next month before it finally melts. And certainly the piles in the parking lots will be around until next month. There have been travel delays in and out of Lambert, too, not only because of our weather today, but because the storm system was racing across the southeast and now into the mid-Atlantic region. So you've had some flights canceled in Atlanta, flights canceled in Charlotte, some of the bigger cities there. The heaviest snow, as expected, went over our southern counties. Down in Reynolds County, 7 inches in Oates, almost 6 inches in Farmington to Fredericktown over to Perryville. Of course, that area also had the ice earlier this week, so there were some additional power outages there because the added weight of that snow on top of the ice caused some of those power lines to come down again, even after being fixed. The system's moving away. We haven't seen temperatures drop much tonight, though. We're still holding around 32 degrees. We'll be in the mid-20s out the door tomorrow morning. Looks like we will see the clouds breaking up as we head towards daybreak. We will talk about a seasonably cold weekend, but the opportunity for more frigid air to return next week.
It's not just the driving of the truck, but it's everyone else that's out there that doesn't know what they're doing.
Many accidents on the roads today, including this one on Interstate 55. A semi jackknifed just before Merrimack Bottom Road. It lost a tank off the side, and it took crews nearly 2 hours to get it off the road. One truck driver has a warning for motorists tonight.
Slow down. That's the biggest thing. They get in a big hurry. That's when they make mistakes, and that's when they end up in a ditch.
Another crash on I-270 near Gravois. As you can see here, the truck losing control, then slides into a semi. Missouri State Highway Patrol says no one was hurt. Lots of people spent the day scurrying around St. Louis area stores for highly sought after snow fighting supplies. Many are stocking up to clear up their icy snowpacked streets. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend is live in our storm tracker in Soulard, where one family-owned business is benefiting from the lingering snow. Robert?
Hey there, Kelly. Let me tell you, tonight many side streets are still a big snowy mess. Take a look at this icy snow-covered thick area near 12th and Russell. Now, while the snow stopped falling hours ago, lots of people are still snatching up supplies just to dig themselves out. Long before the big snowstorm moved our way Sunday, East St. Louis resident Bertha Moore was on the move in Missouri.
For one thing, I got gas from over here. It was cheaper, and we stopped by here.
Last Saturday, she first trekked to Globe Drugs near 9th and Broadway in Soulard.
And we saw they had salt town. We walked in the door. People was getting bags and bags of salt.
On Friday, Moore, just one of the many snow-weary shoppers, scrambling around the 86-year-old family-owned business for shovels, ice scrapers, and that trusty rock salt.
So I'm like $8.95 for 50 pounds. I say we need to get us a bag per household. One for me, my neighbor, and my cousin.
Globe Drugs manager Rick Ruzicka likes the sound of that.
It started last week when they predicted the storm.
All week, shoppers still struggling to clear their snowpacked secondary streets have had one primary goal on their minds: snatch up supplies.
I received another shipment of sidewalk salt saw it on Wednesday. Yeah, we sold out. Business has been good.
A few miles away at the Westlake Ace hardware store in Brentwood,
No freeze on sales.
Rick Rossfeld and his team are trying to keep up with super sales in snow supplies.
Shovels and everything else that most stores, some of the big box stores don't have, we do have. So if you need it, you need to come out and get it because they're going fast.
Get your supplies now because winter is just beginning.
She's definitely right. Here's another live look at that neighborhood. It will definitely take a while for the side streets to improve, so be careful out there, whether you're driving or digging out this weekend. Live in Soulard, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
A lot of patience. Our weather impact forecast is always available on KSDK.com and on the 5+ streaming app. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll be happy to send you a link directly to your phone. Tonight, a proposal that would strip many of the St. Louis mayor's responsibilities. Many cities across the country have a form of government where there's a city manager or a city administrator who's in charge of the day-to-day operations of the city. A local alderwoman wants to see that happen here. Brent Solomon is in the newsroom to break down the plan.
Well, Kelly, the alderwoman pitching this says this is no slight to Mayor Jones. She feels creating this new position would make local government more efficient. It's going to take buy-in from the rest of the Board of Aldermen and ultimately you to make it happen.
59% of cities over 100,000 people in the U.S. have this form of government.
Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez is on a mission that she says would better address St. Louis's long-term needs.
You're talking about challenges that started 10, 20, 30 years ago and, solutions that might fully take 10, 20, 30 years to have a different outcome. And so that might require us to think differently and take a different approach to the way we've been doing things.
And since mayors come and go, as well as each mayor's team of staffers, Velasquez wants to create a city administrator position, a person trained in government operations who would ideally stay on board when administrations change.
It's really about taking the politics out of the actual administration of the city. If it works in other places, it might work here. It would essentially give the city administrator the authority to really be responsible for hiring and also disciplining department heads. You're hiring people who are based on their qualifications. They're not political appointees.
What would then be the mayor's main focus?
They still have a vision of the city, and then the city administrator is essentially the one who executes that vision.
It comes as the St. Louis County Council is considering giving council members the power to remove department heads. There are questions over whether that could apply to the ability to also remove the county executive. That plan would have to go before voters, and so would this proposal out of the city. In St. Louis, that isn't expected to happen until August of next year at the earliest.
Potentially professionalize our operations in the city.
I took this proposal to the candidates running to be the next St. Louis mayor. Mayor Jones' office said that this would have major implications for the city. Andrew Jones said it's a reflection of the, quote, perceived ineptness and incompetence within the city's leadership. Michael Butler said, Alderwoman Velasquez would really like me as mayor. I have all of the credentials to be a good city administrator. We haven't heard back yet from Kara Spencer.
My daughter will never get married. My daughter will never, graduate high school now.
Tonight, an 18-year-old woman is behind bars charged with involuntary manslaughter after 16-year-old Madison Johnson was shot and killed in her home. This happened 1 week ago today. Her mother believes Madison was in a domestic abuse relationship and says her daughter and the suspect were fighting earlier in the day. But as a mother constantly working for her kids, she says she didn't see the red flags.
Me as a mother and being through abuse, I by no means would have ever allowed that person around my daughter. And I hold a grudge with myself because her dad was abusive. My girl's dad was abusive to me.
Mary Cornelius is facing charges for first-degree manslaughter and armed criminal action. Court documents say police believe she was negligently handling the gun at the time of the shooting.
we realized we have to be committed because we know what Brownie wanted for this team, and we're committed to bringing it here for him because we know he's watching.
Tonight, the hockey community comes together to remember Colin Brown, the African Americans and CBC hockey player, was shot and killed in late November. The Blues sponsored tonight's amateur doubleheader, but a major announcement in the last few hours. The Brown family received a $123,000 check on the ice from Dog Nation. Annie Kroll joins us live as the second memorial game for Colin Brown gets underway with his former CBC teammates at Centene. Annie.
That's right, we're in the midst of the national anthem. Only minutes away from puck drop as CBC takes on SLU High School. It's one of the biggest rivalries in hockey in our area. Last season, SLU was the only team to beat CBC. And tonight, after speaking to Colin Brown's both CBC coach as well as his African Americans coach, they both told me their teams are playing for a lot more than just a final score. The ceremony Friday night for Colin Brown was just one step in a long road of honoring his memory. Wearing his number 72 on the USA rink of Centene Community Ice Center was a testament to the 16-year-old defenseman.
Some defensemen, they're more offensive oriented, and Colin was a skilled player, but he also knew that his number one objective was to keep pucks out of the net, and he played that way. The goalies talk about the goalies were his best friends because they love him because he cleared the front of the net, he dug pucks out of the corner, he did all the things you want the defenseman to do.
A defenseman known for protecting the net and his friends, teammates, now charged with protecting his legacy after Brown was shot and killed by a stray bullet on I-55 just before Thanksgiving.
Seeing the slideshow, seeing the pictures, it's hard to not be emotional. It brings back some good memories, obviously, seeing those pictures, but it's also sad to think back to, a little over a month ago to what happened.
Ahead of the game, it was announced Brown wanted to attend the University of Michigan and study medicine besides continuing to play hockey. Even representatives from the Blues were on the ice after raising $33,000 for Brown's family.
That's all raised by Blues fans at a Blues game, which it just shows how much they care. That was our largest 50-50 pot of the year, and as soon as somebody's in need, it's one thing I've noticed about St. Louis. It's such a philanthropic town that they're always willing to help.
Centene is quiet right now because we're in the middle of a moment of silence for Colin Brown. That's why it's so quiet right here at Centene. But Colin's former coaches tell me that they hope his legacy even lives beyond their own lifetimes, which is why they're glad all of the proceeds from tonight goes towards the Brown family as they found a youth hockey scholarship in the name of Colin, with the winner of 2025 being announced on February 28th. Reporting live in Maryland Heights, Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
Thousands are forced out of their homes and thousands more are under evacuation. Warnings from the wildfires in Southern California. A look at the destruction it's leaving behind. At least 10 people are dead. 153,000 still face evacuation orders as fires burn through the Los Angeles area. More than 12,000 structures are believed to have been destroyed, making it one of the costliest fires in U.S. history. Aid came by air across the region as 2 new fires broke out in Granada Hills and Calabasas. One Super Scooper plane is out of commission after a civilian drone hit the aircraft, stretching already thin resources. And on the ground, the National Guard is stationed outside fire zones to prevent looting as many return to homes in ruin.
There's thousands of us that don't know what we're going to do, don't know where we're going to go.
There's nothing left, and I've been here for about an hour and a half, and I don't want to leave. It's home.
Everything that we know and love is gone.
Red flag warnings expired at 6 tonight, but are expected to return Monday when windy conditions return to Los Angeles. A decades-long fixture in the St. Louis restaurant scene is closing its doors next month. Tony's Restaurant in Clayton announced today it is closing. That's according to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal. The fine dining, multiple award-winning restaurant opened downtown in 1946 and moved to Clayton in 2021. Owner James Bomarino tells 5 on Your Side the restaurant will close February 15th. In today's news release, they thank the St. Louis community for being part of its story for so many years. And this comes as Macy's plans to close dozens of department stores this year. The store at the South County Mall is among them. It's on a list of 66 stores to be closed during the first quarter of the year. Macy's will also close a store in Kansas City and Springfield, Illinois. It's part of what the company calls a new strategy to return business to sustainable, profitable sales growth. You can see a full list of stores on KSDK.com. The Metro East saw its fair share of snowfall today. According to IDOT, the snowfall earlier in the week helped them get a head start treating roads. And while crews continued to work the roads, some shoveled at home. And one little guy got to play in the snow for the first time. He looks pretty familiar. I think that's Holden Kerwicki's little baby boy.
I'm not sure he's enjoying it just yet.
I know, but he looks awfully cute in a snowsuit.
He'll appreciate it in the days ahead for sure.
So what about this weekend, Scott?
You know, it's a time to just kind of everybody just kind of chill out, because we've had a stressful week. The teachers have been home. The kids have been home, the parents have been home, everybody's all stressed out this week. We've had a horrible time trying to get around. One of the worst spots has been here in the Chesterfield Valley, but honestly, this is the best it's looked since last Sunday. So we've made some progress. And Kathy shared this beautiful picture. How about this cardinal? Isn't that pretty with the snow and that looks like a cedar tree or some sort of evergreen, nice and green there. Oats down in Reynolds County, 7 inches of fresh snow on the ground. Of course, Reynolds County and down towards Perryville, that area, which saw some decent snowfall totals this go round, was mainly dealing with ice with the last storm. Farmington, 5.7 inches, Centralia 4, 2.5 over in Nashville, Illinois, 2.1 out in St. Peters, and that's what the official weather service tally is from Lambert. They've taken the racks in tonight. They are not blowing snow out at Hidden Valley. Of course, they're open, but that's because temperatures are actually too warm for that tonight. We're still around freezing, and they have to be down into the 20s. Don't worry, they'll be able to make more snow, and I think they're going to be able to carry this ski season a lot farther than we have been the last few years. 34 was the high today, 29 the low. Those numbers not too bad, all things considered. We will drop back into the mid-20s overnight tonight. We stay mostly cloudy and a little bit of a breeze too, so that tends to keep our temperatures from dropping too much. There's the storm system responsible for all of this mess, expanding it all across the middle part of the country and into the northeast now. That's just this last round of snow that we dealt with today. Back edge of the clearing and the clouds still off to our west, outside of a random snow flurry or two. It's just mainly cloudy tonight, and then it becomes partly cloudy tomorrow, back into the mid-30s. There is another front that comes in on Sunday. There may be a few snow showers up in the Quad Cities, Rockford, Chicago by Sunday afternoon. That should all stay to our north, but it does allow colder air to come back into the area starting Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday. That then zips off to the east. We'll get a break Thursday to early Saturday, and then heading into the end of the weekend next week, more bitter cold air will be sliding in. We'll see if this cold pattern will be able to grab any moisture. That's the big question. We don't have an answer for it right yet. But stay with us, because after next Saturday, it gets bitterly cold. Again, probably colder than what we're looking at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And with those overnight low temperatures next week, once they go back into the teens and even some single digits, Kelly, that's when we'll have concerns again about black ice and, you know, what melts on the side of the road, refreezing if it hasn't been treated. So that's next week. Don't think we have big concerns with that tonight or tomorrow night.
Oh, that's good news.
Yes.
At least.
Yeah, and tomorrow afternoon, 35.
Oh, welcome that.
Yeah, 38 and Sunday. We'll be out in shorts and bare feet.
Gary Frank will be out in shorts.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Here's Corey Miller in sports.
Well, the snow tried to shut us out tonight for high school highlights, but we still found a few games in the area. Plus, you'll hear from City SC's new head coach coming up in sports.
Five on Your Sideline, sponsored by Universal Windows Direct.
Well, Mother Nature had other plans for Five on Your Sideline tonight. With all the snow days around town, there weren't a whole lot of options for high school basketball highlights. However, we still have a couple of games for your Friday night highlight fix. Let's start over in Illinois. Only game I found still on in the Metro East, O'Fallon on the road at East St. Louis. Panthers had the fast start in this one. Jaden Dancy gonna drill that triple from the corner. Good hustle next from East St. Louis. Flyers get possession on the ground. Get the ball to DeVries Johnson, who zooms down for the finish on the other end. Back to O'Fallon. Nate Smith got cooking to close the quarter. Hits that tray from the corner. But the Flyers toughed it out tonight. Isaiah Brown eventually going to finish off this layup for East St. Louis. They go on to win 62-50. Priory on the road at Powerhouse John Burroughs. If you're going for a layup against the Bombers, you probably want to think twice. Sheik Pearson with the first rejection out into the parking lot. And then Tristan Reed is going to follow suit with a huge block of his own. Hey, they're good on the other end too. Reed dunks, and then Pearson is going to get a dunk of his own. Let's go the other way. Frankie Harris, nice three for Priory. But the Bombers are one of the best teams in St. Louis. DJ Johnson, impressive finish at the rim as Burroughs wins 70-47. Over to Marquette. Mustangs hosting Eureka in a pink out night, and Brody Owen decided he was going to have himself a night. First up, underhand floater. That's good. Now he's bringing the ball up, spots up. That's a triple, and he liked that spot so much, he's just going to hit from there again. He is on fire. He knows it. The crowd knows it. He's rolling. Now this is just an assist from Owen, but Kieran Burnett puts the exclamation point on the end of that play with the dunk. Joe Rawls had a nice night on the other side for Eureka, but the home Mustangs win on pink out night 75-69. In just 44 days, City SC will be back on the pitch at City Park. In 3 days, they'll open up training camp for 2025. Today, we got to talk to the new man leading City into the new year. The snow was a perfect welcome for Swedish soccer legend Olof Mellberg. The new man in charge was hired as head coach back in November, turning down other opportunities, including with the Swedish national team, to come to St. Louis in an attempt to lead City back to the playoffs. Here's the man who brought him here on the decision and the man himself on his new team.
In the end of the day, it's about winning games, playing style, taking the best out of the squad. And that's why Olaf was always one of the top candidates for us.
I think we have a lot of physical players. We're going to continue to be a team with high energy, physical team, strong on set pieces. I don't really want to exclude anything in our game. I like for us to be predictable for ourselves. You know, we should know exactly what we're doing all the time, but unpredictable for the opponents.
The Blues are back on the ice tomorrow at home against Columbus. Last night's 6-2 win over the Ducks saw another goal from Dylan Holloway, who is on quite the heater. His past 8 games, Holloway has 13 points. In his first season in St. Louis, Holloway already has 15 goals and is a +11 player. But it's the little things that are impressing his coach.
I'm really impressed with how hard he plays. Like, he just wants the puck, and how he got hit hard twice tonight. He just gets up and continues to play. You love to see a guy that's never deterred, that always wants the puck and always just looking to push forward.
Ohio State playing in the Cotton Bowl for the 2nd straight year. Last year they lost to Mizzou in this game. This year they face Texas for a trip to the national title game. Tied at 14 in the second half when Sean Junkins gives the Buckeyes the lead. But here's the play of the year probably. 4th and goal, Texas had to get 7 to tie, and Jack Sawyer comes up with a strip, the scoop, and eventually the score for Ohio State. What a play to send the Buckeyes to the championship game against Notre Dame with a 28-14 win. Now for 5 on your sideline, during football season, I'm always worried about the weather kind of ruining our plans. Basketball, yes. I didn't think I was going to have to worry about it. We're inside.
So much.
You never know.
I know.
We'll have a big week next week. How about that?
We look forward to that in more ways than one. But the weather outside isn't as frightful when you're having fun. A snapshot of snow day pictures taken by you today. So many of you embraced today's new snowfall. Wesley Harris and Matt Rhodes sending these pics of their brand new snowman. That's a huge one on the right. And check this out. Instagram user Local Bestie posted this video of people skiing down the street. And here's a majestic sight. You showed this earlier, Scott. So many of you sent in pics of these bright red cardinals perched on trees, on electric lines, and in people's backyards. They look so nice. And hopefully the snow's going to stay away this weekend.
Yeah, we don't have anything additional.
Nothing new.
Nothing new, but we won't be getting rid of what's on the ground anytime soon.
Sticking around.
It's going to take a while. We have an 8-inch snow depth in St. Louis officially at Lambert after today's 2 inches of snow. 35 tomorrow, 38 on Sunday. A rather uneventful weekend weather-wise.
Great, thank
Yay.
you. Thanks so much for joining us at 10. Your local news and weather is always streaming on 5+. Have a great night. Be safe.